The wacky world of MultimediaJay.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Dellasaurus! I don't have the foggiest clue why this piece of junk old computer from 15 years ago is as popular as it is on this channel, but it is, for whatever reason, and I haven't the foggiest clue why. It was a piece of junk when it first came out, and it's a piece of junk now, 15 years later. This is a Dell Dimension L566CX from the year 2000. It was originally it ran Windows ME, 600 megahertz Celeron. It originally had 64 megs of RAM. I capped it at 512, I think. This thing was a piece of junk back when it first came out. It was my dad's original computer when I went off to college, which it got too slow for him a little too quickly. And of course, well, Windows Millennium Edition. But anyways, that's enough Dellasaurus 101. This computer, for whatever reason, is really popular on this channel, despite being a 15-year-old piece of junk that was never anything good to begin with. I mean, my tablet is faster than this thing. Which is why we are gathered here today to utterly hook up an old, equally outdated tube monitor from about 10 years ago to this thing and torture the living daylights out of it with the Windows 10 technical preview. The 32-bit version, of course. Not going to make the same 32 versus 64-bit mistake that I made last time with Windows 8. The Dellasaurus, I started it up the other night and it worked, so it looks like it'll still boot. It still has Windows XP on it from the last time I tried running Nova Bench on it, but with only integrated graphics from the year 2000, I couldn't get the test to run. Anyways, I don't have very high hopes for Windows 10 technical preview because I've already checked the specifications and this computer comes up short in a couple areas. So hopefully the install DVD doesn't have, or the install image I should say, that I burned to a DVD doesn't have showstopper crybabyware that gripes and complains if this computer's not up to spec. It might be a very short last hurrah for the Dellasaurus. Okie dokie. Now, we've been having problems getting this thing to boot off of DVDs. It could be the case that this piece of junk is so old that it can only boot off of CDs despite having a DVD-ROM drive. I mean, this thing doesn't even have USB 2. Come on, you piece of junk. See what kind of flicker vision we're going to get here. I'm not getting anything, actually. Oh, there we go. It booted into Windows XP. It didn't even touch the DVD. This is gonna be fun. Well, we're not off to a good start here. I'm playing around with the BIOS settings, trying to get it to boot off of the DVD drive like it's supposed to, and now it's not getting off of the boot screen. Unless it's taking over a minute to test all the memory. I remember my HP used to take a while to test all 512 megs. The Dellasaurus. It just keeps getting better, doesn't it? Yep, did I call it, or did I call it? Resetting the BIOS settings. Get out of that old habit. Resetting the BIOS settings, basically, resetting the BIOS settings turned off quick boot mode, so it was going to take forever to test all the RAM. Alright, well, let's just shut this off. Come on, XP. I don't want XP on here. Never even activated it anyways. This was just an El Quico. Alright, just push the button. This was an El Quico install just to see. Ooh, it's shutting down. This was just a quick install just to see if I could run Nova Bench in Windows XP, and it didn't work, so. Okay, so with quick boot turned on, let's see if it'll boot. The boot order is correct. It is doing DVD drive first before the hard drive. Worst comes to worst, I might have to turn off quick boot mode. And who knows how long that'll take to start up when it has to test all the RAM individually. Come on, you piece of junk. I think the drive still works. It is 15 years old, so can't be too sure. It's not even a 16-speed DVD, it's only a 4-speed. I wonder if that's throwing everything off. Nope, it didn't boot off of the DVD. The tinkering continues. That's quiet mode and quick mode now turned off. I remember having to watch this count slowly up to 512 on the old HP back in the day. Okay, Google. Push the button. Make me a sandwich.
What? Make it yourself.
Yeah, I switched the default Google voice for the British voice. It's really hilarious. Oh, we got a boot, And what happens? I seriously think that this machine cannot boot off of a DVD-ROM. I wonder if there's a way to split the ISO between regular CDs. Just even though this thing has a DVD drive. Hack job alert! Hack job alert! We managed to hack job the thing into finally booting off of some kind of optical disc. It's an old Linux install that I had on a DVD-RW from back in the day. Well, back in the day as in a couple of years ago. This kernel requires an x86-64 CPU, but there's only an i686 CPU, blah blah blah, unable to boot, because it's a 64-bit Linux distro from an old... Yeah, so I wound up hack jobbing at one of the old drives from Piano, which is actually a parallel... Uh-oh. Shut up, Dellasaurus! Don't make noise on me now! So I wound up... Unless it's because there's no ventilation because the cover's off and the power supply provides the... No, there's a CPU fan in there. Anyways. Alright, while the Dellasaurus is making weird noises, I hack jobbed one of Piano's old optical drives that was still parallel ATA into the cable and the power and stuff like that. So it's basically running independent of this, and it's making lots of weird noises. Shut it off. Yay! Alright, let's put the Windows 10 technical preview in here. So we know it will boot off of an optical disc. So if this doesn't work, there's something up with this ISO that's causing it not to boot. Computers, go figure. 3, 2, 1, Frankenstein hack job piece of junk, go. There it goes. That floppy drive don't sound too healthy, does it? Alright, there's activity. So maybe that 15-year-old optical drive is finally kaput after all these years. Alright, I hear spin-ups. Maybe it's the ISO. Okay, there's obviously something wrong with this ISO, or I should put the ISO on the Linux. I mean, this is an old Linux thing from a while ago. Maybe it's the media as well. So maybe it has problems with the specific DVD-R that I'm using, or maybe there's something wrong with how it gets burned. But we did see it boot to Linux from here, so let's put the Windows 10 ISO onto this Linux DVD-RW, replacing what's already on there, and give it another go, shall we? This Linux DVD-RW now has the Windows 10 technical preview. Blasphemy! No, just kidding. I actually had to try burning it twice because the built-in Windows burner thing wasn't working right. It errored out when it tried to burn it. Maybe that was the problem earlier. So I wound up busting out Nero for this. Alright, go. Maybe the drive needs to be closed. Oh, no, actually. Yeah. Let's see what we got here. Anything? That's what the zoom button's for. There's activity on the drive. Ooh, noises from the drive that I haven't heard before. Does that mean we have a successful burn? I should probably have spun this in the other computer before bringing it down here to see if the technical preview... Well, it's not like the technical preview is going to install. Oh, wait a minute. It's not like the tech preview is going to install on my 64-bit system. No, it just spun a bunch of times and then didn't boot. Welcome back to Tuxedo. This is proof that this CD does work. It's just not working in the Dellasaurus, for whatever reason, and it's not the drive. Okay, next steps. We're gonna try the back path. Not gonna do this tonight because it's getting a little late. We're gonna try the back path of installing this technical preview. First thing I want to do, I want to install something that I know installs on here first. Windows 2000. And then try to upgrade to the Windows 10 technical preview from Windows 2000. So once this finishes its uber long RAM check, I'll get to work on that and do that off camera. Get this up to a basic Windows 2000 install that just barely boots, and then pop in the DVD and see what happens. But mark my words, Dellasaurus, this isn't over!